Alright, into customs, and we're going to try and use one of the other new star pack pets today. That is the Tuna. So the Tuna is a new hurt pet. Its ability is kind of difficult to explain. Maybe I'll put it up on screen in the next shop phase. But essentially the way it works is for every time it's been hurt, it gives an extra +1/1 on feint. So it's kind of like a mammoth or a flamingo, but you can build up how many buffs it's going to give over time. So if it gets hurt in a battle, that counter will reset the next turn. But if it gets hurt in the shop, then the count is permanent. And so in Star Pack, the easiest way to go about using that is with Leech. So you just have the Leech hit the Tuna every single turn, and then each turn it's going to be giving more stats. What I want to do here in Customs is to bypass Leech altogether, and then we're going to try and hurt the Tuna in the shop as many times as we can by pilling the various feint units that deal damage. So we've got a Hedgehog for that, and Badger as well. But another new unit is the Firefly. And the Firefly is actually the best option of them all, because not only does it only do 1 damage, but you can make it so that it only hits the Tuna and doesn't hit anything else. Whereas with the other units like Hedgehog, you're going to hit your whole team with Hedgehog. I guess actually thinking about it, there's also Great One, but Great One does so much damage that it's pretty useless for this particular purpose. So having played a few attempts at this, I decided that what I wanted to do was go for the double hurt pet in order to maximize the value of the Firefly. So we're going to use Camel. Now Camel is one that I very rarely use in Customs, although it is quite a popular unit. But there really aren't many other options in the early game. You could wait until you get Triceratops later on, but since we want to be pilling Firefly, which is a tier 1, and you're going to have pretty easy access to lots of Fireflies early, I don't think it makes an awful lot of sense to hold on and hope for the jackpot on turn 7. So we're going to buy double, lettuce here in order to guarantee hit all the tier 3 units. And then we're actually going to have the tropical fish buff the Tuna and not the Camel, mainly because I just don't want to play Tuna at the back. We want to see its ability go off as many times as possible during this run. So you can see there the Camel gives the Tuna a ton of health, and therefore it's going to get lots of hurt triggers during the battle. I don't know exactly how many, but okay, it was +6/6, so we got 6 triggers, but we go back to 0 because we haven't hurt the Tuna in the shop at all. But now we get the Firefly. We get the pill for the Firefly, rather. And we can level to the Camel, which is exactly what I was waiting for. Although now I see the Secretary Bird as well. So the greedy part of me thinks that I should wait for a second pill and then go for a double pill in order to trigger Secretary Bird at the same time as both the Tuna and the Camel. And I think that's pretty effective. You do need double pill, which is kind of frustrating. I guess if you were pilling like a Hedgehog, you could kill something else with the Hedgehog Blast and therefore trigger the double feint without needing 2 pills. But I think for the sake of this lineup, I am going to have to find another pill for it to work. Of course, I would also need something else to pill, but I don't have any problem just pilling the tropical fish in order to activate the Secretary Bird, especially if we get Secretary Bird to level 2, because then we're going to get +6/6 for each double feint. So we get a ton of buffs there from the Tuna. I don't think it really made any difference there, but we do actually get the Secretary Bird level up, and we get level 3 stoked from the Griffin, which is the Dream. So yeah, we'll take the level here, and I think I pilled a Firefly now. And then we're just going to hope that we can find another pill before the end of the turn. So we gain some stats on the Tuna from the Camel. We actually find a Firefly. And I think I'm going to find another pill here just in time. So if we pill the Firefly in between the Tuna and the Camel. Okay, I'm deciding here whether or not I want to give the buffs to the Secretary Bird or to the Camel, depending on the positioning. If we swap the Camel with the Tuna, the Secretary Bird would get the buff from the Camel, but then the Camel would also get the buff from the Secretary Bird, whereas I'd rather just concentrate the stats onto the Tuna and maximize its ability since it's the star of the run. So level 3 Sea Lion only gets to buff 3 things, but it's still quite a lot of stats for turn 8. And a summon team is perfect for both feeding stats to the Tuna, but then also triggering lots of hurt effects. They get mole, but they don't have more than one perk, so we're fine. Yeah, a lot of stats there from the Tuna. I think that was 8 triggers overall. But the later you go, the harder it becomes to actually, have the space on your team to pill the Firefly. Now, of course, you can also just use Mantis and Dear Lord to guarantee faint things every turn. But we're opting out of that here for the sake of variety. So I find a Pillbug. And Pillbug is definitely incredibly useful now that you can have it in your pack as another way to find a pill. That's probably one of the things I've said the most in commentary over the years, is that when you get to the late game, anytime you're relying on finding pill, it's just so difficult. It's so unlikely to repeatedly find pill, especially when there are so many things in the food shop that you're often wanting to freeze. And this is kind of unfortunate here, where the ability of the Tuna does nothing because the rest of the team got removed. So we have to sell the Sea Lion. A bit unfortunate there because the stats it was giving were quite impressive, but we are actually winning quite quickly here. So as I almost make a mistake and pill the Firefly in the wrong position, but we get it right in the end, give some stats to the crocodile. Now there's a badger there as well. We can't be picky at this stage and insist on finding Fireflies. So I'm going to freeze the badger. It's going to do a little bit more damage than we would like. And unfortunately, actually we could pill now because the pill is free, but I think here I don't realise that the pill from the Pillbug costs nothing, so I could have actually pilled the badger there to trigger the secretary bird, but never mind. We miss out on the stats. But I think we're going to be okay anyway. Yeah, we removed the 2 large units there with the buffs, but it's going to be a draw. Would be interesting to look back on that and see if I would have won if I had just gone for the 4 squad with the immediate badger pill. So more stats onto the Tuna. We find another Firefly. And really I should probably buy the Tuna. Okay, we actually get a pill. So that's perfect. We are going to trigger the secretary bird and still be able to buy something else for the squad. So plus 6/6 onto the crocodile, and I think we'll just take the sauropod for the base stats. There is another Pillbug there, and also pita bread, which is really good to combo with the Firefly or badger pill to gain a ton of extra HP. And a perfect opponent again with the Spinosaurus at the back that gets deleted. Yeah, I think we should be fine here. The dog is going to become large, but the amount of stats we get from the Tuna is going to nullify it completely. Yep. So we move on to 8 trophies. Now there is a Pillbug again here. I can't remember if I take it or not. I think I should. Just buy the 2 food items and then sell sauropod, buy, sell Pillbug. Okay, I don't do it. Kind of unfortunate there because maybe I'm just at the point where I'm giving up on the pill scaling. Now look at this, level 3 Jersey Devil on turn 12, and they've got all tier 5s and 6s. You would think that that would be an automatic loss. The Tuna is going to give a load of stats to the rest of our squad, and actually we win. Which, honestly, watching that back, I'm quite shocked that that ended up being a win. So we take another pita, just in case we happen to find the pill plus Firefly combo again, although I think it's probably a bit late now. Now look at this squad. I don't think I've seen anyone else doing this. Hummingbird plus Tabby Cat. So Hummingbird's new ability is to give Strawberry at start of battle, which means that the Tabby is going to trigger immediately. And at level 3, it's triggering 3 times. And of course the Axolotl is also giving permanent stats at the same time. Add in the Hippocampus, which admittedly is definitely a broken unit, but still very creative to see the sheer amount of stats that team was able to generate with only the tier 1 and 2 units. It does kind of show how difficult it is to balance this game when you're getting crazy combos like that from fairly innocent seeming abilities. And then look at this team, everything invested into one big hippo, and we kill the optimistic scorpion at the front. And although the harpy eagle is going to get knocked out, the secretary bird buffs the duck, and we end up getting the win. Now, I've got a couple of extra little clips at the end here to illustrate some of the more complicated stuff I was trying to do in the shop that just wasn't paying off. So here's a pill double hedgehog scenario where we're going to trigger all 3 heart abilities twice in one turn. So we get the 2 triggers onto the tuna, and then both the camels pass the buffs backwards. And then of course you can just combine the camels together so you don't have a 1 HP unit. And now here's one where we go one step further. We've got double hedgehog and then firefly as well. So we can position it here so that it only hurts the tuna. Although honestly I could have just let it hit the camel as well, because essentially we're throwing the round to do this, I think. Yeah, I could have just let it hit the camel there and gave more stats to the tuna. We weren't going to be able to field a sensible looking team anyway.